to you, depending on where you're joining me from. My name is Toyin Umesiwi. I'm the founder and CEO of Nazaru. I serve as a business coach, a leadership and success coach, and I play different roles, which I'll break down today. Okay, welcome to part four. Actually, it's part four of the Sales and Persuasion series that I've been holding all through this week. I want to welcome everyone that has joined me on Clubhouse. Punam, thank you. Dr. May, thank you for being here. Professor Mbele, good to see you. Kenny, Feline, awesome. Good to have you here. Let me also follow Feline so you can be on the second section. Okay. Welcome to those on YouTube as well. Please do subscribe. And if you're joining on LinkedIn, you're my people. Like LinkedIn is my people, right? LinkedIn people are my people. Let me just say that correctly. Anyway, so today I'm taking this deeper. We'll be covering the pyramids of success when it comes to power, influence, right? And wealth. I'll dive into it, and with the experience and the work that we do at Nazaru, I'll share how I've seen sales and persuasion work differently across the different levels of, power, success, influence. So let's get right to it today. So do drop a note and let us know where you're joining from. And again, thank you for being here with me today. So here's the thing, from part 1, 2, 3, 4, and today's 4, I started out with explaining the differences between employee mindset and really the shift into entrepreneurship, producer mindset. That sales and persuasion is something that entrepreneurs and producers have to commit to. It's a requirement of the job, if I can say it that way. While employees really just do it once in a while, right? When you're taking a job, your resume, all of that. If you move into entrepreneurship, like sales and persuasion needs to be something you excel at. Like, period. Practice makes perfect. So this is an assignment. You need to perfect how's your sales and persuasion skills. You need to perfect it for you to build a successful business or even to achieve any type of success at the highest level. So I'll break it down. So just go on this ride with me. The other thing I covered for part 2 was this idea of taking an inventory of your value, your value system, right? And all the value that you carry. I shared that I've seen a lot of times when many people may not know their value, or they've boxed themselves in such a way, whether it's based on culture, nature, nurture, communities where they find themselves, or even for employees where they're stuck in a job that is just one dimension of a skill they can provide, but it's not just about the 360 personality and the things they can do for in life. So what you can do for your employer versus all of the amazing things God has blessed you with, those are different, right? Very, very different. And then yesterday, part 3, I allowed the conversation to be organic. So we had Miss Christie on stage. There were lots of questions, and I allowed it to just go where it needed to go. I was able to answer questions and also serve those in the room, particularly on Clubhouse, right? And today, so I moved what I wanted to share today. I developed it, and that's what I'm covering today. Is this idea that once you understand sales and persuasion as a required skill for success, period, like no argument, you now need to also start understanding that how you sell, how you persuade different people, different stakeholders at different levels of the pyramid of success, power, influence, wealth, right? I have found it to be different. Okay, so let me give examples right now. So those on Clubhouse, I hope you can still hear me well. If someone else wants to join the stage, please do. Awesome. And just, you can feel free to mute. I appreciate that. Thank you, Verlene. So basically, here's the deal. With the work that I do at Nazaru, let me break it down. At the top level of influence, so let me also even share pyramids, if you're not familiar with it, like the pyramids of wealth, right? In terms of wealth acquisition, it looks a certain way. There are those at the base of the pyramid all around the world. This is an economic development conversation. So at the highest levels, this is what we talk about. People at the grassroots level, we call it base of the pyramid, right? Subsequent farmers, like, just think about wealth when it comes to the pyramid of wealth in the world. certain regions of the world do better at moving up that pyramid than other regions of the world. Wealth creation, economic development, all of those things. So at a certain level at Nazaru, that's what we're talking about, which I'll share a little bit today, okay? So think about wealth pyramid. Where are you on that journey? And also, whatever value. So in part 2, we talked about unwrapping your value. Here's what happens. That value can be improved by through personal development and training. So for example, if you train to be a doctor, you can perform at a certain level because you can bring that experience to the market. If you train to be a pilot, you can bring that skill and command certain value in the marketplace because the value, the training, the capacity that you've invested in yourself, that you've grown, determines what you can do in the world and the types of people you can do it for and the perceived value. So in a way, you are responsible for your value, the amount of value you're creating for yourself in terms of the skill that you're acquiring for yourself, that you're able to bring to the marketplace, that you're able to sell, that you're able to exchange and monetize. It's up to you. It's nobody else. So if you go into accounting, it's your decision. If you go into marketing, that's your decision. If you go as, like I shared, pilot, doctor, all of these conventional skills, dentist, right? These are specific needs in the community, in the society, right? Across industries. You know, whether you're a programmer or you're this, you go to school, you acquire the skill, you bring the skill to your potential employer, you exchange it, they pay you salary on and on and on, right? You determine value. That's the first point, because unfortunately, many people don't understand that the investment you make in yourself, the skills you decide that you acquire, right? The capacity that you have or you grow for yourself, all of that responsibility is on you first. And then your ability to bring it into the marketplace and persuade people at different levels of success, influence, wealth, right? Your ability to persuade them to buy your value and exchange it for whatever it is you want is also a skill set. Okay? So go with me. I hope you're going with me. I'm setting the stage right now and I'm taking you on a journey. Okay? So basically, you are responsible for your passive value. Passive value can continue to increase as long as you invest in yourself. Personal development, books, going to school, acquiring new skills. Like, it's all about what you can do. It's you. The second side is you determining on those ladders, right? So influence is a ladder. So just go with me. Influence is a ladder. Power is a ladder. Wealth is a ladder. Very few people get all three. And sometimes you might need to get one first before you can then leverage it to get the other. So let me give you an example. The world of power is highly political. Okay. I'm sharing with you experience. Okay. And I'll break it down. So bear with me. Just go with me. What I found is that the political system all around the world, whether here in the US or anywhere back home in Africa, power hungry people. Can we say I'm building a community? Okay, so let's speak truth, let's share, let's understand, so that you speak. You know, in the game plan 12 strategies for winning, my leadership and success program, the first module, the first strategy is for you to gain clarity of where are you going, what do you want. Gain clarity. There's nothing wrong with your desire, but understand your desires. Understand your aspirations, your hopes, your dreams, right? See it clearly, claim it. Claim your desires. If you want political power, claim it. You will work for it though. That's one of the messages I also have. So whether it's political power, on and on, there are people on that space. I encounter them, I work with them, I understand it. There's also influence. There's a new, this influencer stuff. You want 1 million followers, then you can trade it. Influence is also a certain type of power, right? Influence is influence, right? I've been interviewed on influence, the power of influence before. So do go to my website. I think that video is there. But influence in some form, for someone like Oprah, let's just talk about it. Oprah's influence she leveraged the platform she had as example to shift from just influence, because sometimes people get in to the top of influence, but they may not have the skills to monetize and convert it to wealth. Oprah was a genius at that. She got influence, but she didn't just say, I'm influential. She made it count when it comes to teaching. Okay, so bear with me. I'm trying to break these things down so that anybody would understand clearly what this is about. Okay, so pyramids of power, people tend to leverage political, status to gain power in the world. Let's say it as it is. Wealth, people tend to use the word of business and commerce to acquire wealth. It's a vehicle of wealth. So where are you on that journey? Okay, there are people all across those three pyramids. There are people at the base of the pyramid, mid, and top. And mindsets at those levels are different. Okay, are you going with me? Should I stop and just get some questions before I keep diving? Because I know I'm packing a lot here. Any reactions? Punam, go on.
Join, I'm just flashing the mic in consent with what you're saying, and I'm fully agreeing to the point that you're making. So no questions so far.
Fantastic.
Just applauding you for your thoughts.
Okay, fantastic. So yes, first is creating awareness so that people understand that the world is structured this way. So that you, first of all, personal responsibility, personal decision on, are you on that journey? Because the people we help have to be on that journey, which is back to what I've been sharing all week. Is that unfortunately, not everybody is actually actively pushing themselves, investing in themselves, elevating their own value so that they can, move themselves into certain spaces, right? I mean, that's also my experience. So a lot of times, most of the things I say falls flat in certain spaces because it's like, we don't want to do the work. That's too much. And that's okay. That's why I always say it's okay, right? If you remember earlier in the week, I talked about never persuade anybody against their own will. No, you have to desire this. You have to want it. Even God wants us to want certain things, right? So never, one of my, call it Toyin's rule of persuasion. Don't attempt to persuade somebody against their will, what they don't want, the directions they are not ready to go on. However, freely persuade people in the direction of achieving their hopes, dreams, desire. So that's part of, in entrepreneurship, when I coach my clients, you're going to engineer your business to serve people what they need, want, desire, aspire, to remove pain in their life, to support them on their journey. You do it really well. Bill Gates helped us create the world of personal computers. We love it. He's been rewarded. Elon Musk solved certain things in the world, electric cars. He's being rewarded. Can I say Jeff Bezos solved certain things? They are being rewarded. They help the world move closer with their platforms, with their businesses, with their products. That's entrepreneurship at its core. And doing that work allowed them to move up the ladder of the wealth pyramid, right? So if you look at the stories of those individuals, where they started from, how they started, you will see the growth, how they moved from the base or mid, and they steadily moved up. And today, people would say, oh, top 1%. The questions you need to be asking is how? How did they get there? Right? Because a lot of times, when you realize the how, you also have to say, are you committed to doing the same work? And that's where people start falling off. So anyway, back to, persuasion and sales. So at the top of the house of power, influence, okay, and wealth, the work that we do at Nazaro that I do, okay, let me break it down. So at the political space, for example, okay, we talk about policy advocacy, okay? So it's part of the things, and I'll give you examples. So today is gist time. I'm putting my stuff out there. Okay. We talk about policy advocacy. So on behalf of the private sector, I do engage with government. Okay. I'll share a few. I'm not going to be able to put all those things, but I'll share a few things so that you gain a little bit of insight into that world. Policy advocacy, we talk about trade and investment promotion. Okay. Are you bear with me? We talk about economic development. So that's a strong, actually, that's my full-time job. Okay. So when I host events or do certain things, so let me give specifics. So I don't just want to generalize, right? So as example, say AFCFTA for Africa. Let me give that example for Africa, right? During the negotiating rounds, of trying to get nations on board to create the world's largest trade bloc, there were certain, conversations I had to have in terms of advocating for certain countries to sign. So, for example, like I'll just give maybe one little example each. So, for example, where the vice president of Nigeria was in the US, for example. So we have certain strategic alliances with nations and representatives of governments. That's what we do at Nazaro. So, for example, it's like I'll get calls like, hey, the vice president or the president is coming, Toyin, we need you here, ABCD, right? I'll fly in, have that conversation. I remember one was even televised where I was engaging the vice president of Nigeria, like, Edon, like, sir, why has Nigeria not signed AFCFTA? Many people don't remember. It's a few years ago, right? Where Nigeria was one of the last to sign those things. I was like, sir, why have you not signed this? This. And he was like, no, this. So policy advocacy is one of those things that we do. There's also trade and investment promotion. So, for example, if key officers from certain nations show up, they'll be like, Toyin, talk to this officer, like policy advocacy in terms of trade and investment facilitation or investor. So, every nation, every city, every state in the world is looking to attract. They are trying to persuade. Okay, back to sales and persuasion. At the highest levels of the pyramid of power, governments around the world continue to persuade through trade and investment promotion to attract investors, okay, into their cities, their states, their nations. Some nations in the world do it better than others. Some, because here's the behavior, I'm going to give some comparison, right? Because this is the behavior I see across all levels. Some nations think that they don't have to do this work. At the ground floor, when I'm talking about, branding, your story, people will be pushing back at me like, why do I need the same exact flawed mindset exists at the top of the nations that do not do this, right? So okay, trade and investment promotion, there are departments, industries, departments responsible. Each nation in the world has the department responsible for trade and investment promotion. It's their full-time job to promote their nation, to tell the story of their nation so that they can attract investments and all of that. That's the top of the house. So we do that work, right? So I engage, right? These are the private things. I keep it where it belongs, private, right? But I just wanted to give an example. That's the whole purpose of today, is to give an example that at the top of the house of influence, power, right, wealth, there are certain activities around sales. Everybody's trying to sell something. Everybody's trying to persuade people. It's a rule, right? Every single person. So even in the top of the house wealth, when it comes to business dealings, right, there's a lot of advocacy where I'm talking to CEOs and doing certain things. If you go to my website, toyinmesiri.com, you see the outcomes. A lot of times people see the outcomes of my work, but they don't understand what's happening behind the scene. Yeah, right? So at the top of the house, part of the work that I do for my clients is I matchmake, meaning if a client needs certain things, we're able to make some certain connections and all of those things, right? I won't say more than that. Full stop. Or let me just pack that. Okay. That's my full-time job. But here's what happened. So I host international summits. For those who may not know, I'm also the founder and convener of the Trade with Africa Business Summit, the AFCFTA Roundtable, Retail in Africa. There's lots of activities that I lead. Okay. Where they are platforms where government and private sector stakeholders come together to work on mutually beneficial economic development activities. Policy, trade, investments. In fact, on my platforms, governments come in and they pitch their nations. We have like country pitch, right? South Africa Trade Commissioner will come in. Oh, come to South Africa. Nigeria Consul General will come. That's my full-time job. However, this is now me bringing it down to say a lot of the conversations we're having in those rooms, those at the base of the pyramid they don't have any idea what's going on and how to participate. So this is what I've found from a strategic standpoint, is that when policies and opportunities are coming down, they rarely get to the grassroots unless you do a bottom-up strategic implementation. So there's top-down, where policies are implemented, DC, Washington, DC, African Union, all of those things, they do their job. The government does their job. We can also advocate on behalf of the private sector for certain policies to be implemented. Even just yesterday, right? Because I was also appointed by the US Secretary of Commerce to the Illinois Export District Council. And yesterday, for example, the national body, right? Part of the conversation and the meeting and the semi-training we were having yesterday was how to, right, engage our elected officials in DC, how to effectively, and we're giving tricks, forms, these templates of how to do it, because as a body, as a district export council, part of our role and responsibility is to advocate on behalf of America's exporters to make sure that there's enabling environment, there's support, there's facilitation, that the private sector, small business, particularly small businesses, have the information, resources, and knowledge that they need to participate in international trade opportunities. Okay, so that's part of my duty as being on the District Export Council. Okay, I'm putting my business out there. Okay, let me take a deep breath. So there are certain other things. So for example, in Africa as well, I've played in the past a role of ambassador for advocating and advancing intra-African trade, like officially appointed by the African Union, African Export-Import Bank, which is a bank owned by African governments. So advocacy, speaking on behalf of, right? Persuasion, sales, trade with Africa, it's all about that. But here's the kicker. At that level, when the conversation now goes, these are the opportunities, Toyin, where are the people? Yes, where are the people? Like, buyers are looking for products. Where are the products and where are the producers of that product that you talk about? Oh, we are coming. We'll be right back. It's because at a certain level of those pyramid, people haven't done the work to build a business to be able to participate, because the opportunities coming top down, they're only for private sector, particularly business owners, entrepreneurs that have a product, have a service that they want to distribute on and on and on. So this is what started happening in those spaces, right? So 2-3 years ago, you will not find me talking publicly. You won't find me. You will only find me maybe when I'm hosting events and clips from my event, but you won't find me engaging publicly and putting this stuff out there. Why? Because a lot of those works, they are private. Nobody needs to know. It's nobody's business, right? Guess what? But here's how it becomes your business and why I'm doing this. Is because until you have certain things to sell and persuade, you can't get into those rooms. Well, but if you get into those rooms, at best, you will take notes, piece of paper and biro, and you take notes, because you have nothing to pitch. You have nothing to offer. You don't have services that the government can leverage. You don't have services. You can't structure PPPs. You don't even know what's going on. I'm like, guys, like, really? So this is what led me to start building bridges, the International Trade Network, the Business and Leadership Academy. Because at the end of the day, how do we move people with the right knowledge? How do we empower them with the right knowledge, skills, right? Capacity building at those levels so that they can strategically mobilize and empower themselves. If they want, like Mission Impossible, should you decide you want to take this mission on? That's why every time you see me, I'll say, should you want it? should you desire it, right? Here are ladders that will make that journey for you a little bit less painful, right? A little bit less frustrating, right? A little bit less. Because without a guide, roadmap, coach, support, you will still make the journey, but you will, should I say, cry a little? I'm sorry, because can I speak truth? Can I say, if you're an entrepreneur, this you already know me, but if you're not on this journey, then please don't worry, this is not for you. But here's the deal. What led to me building bridges is say, hurry up those opportunities. Get yourself closer. But unfortunately, when people approach me, oh, can I talk to this buyer? I'm like, what do you have to offer? Nothing. I'm like, no, 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 no. We can't work with that. Go back to school. Brand properly. Your pricing strategy, your story, your believability. You can't come into these spaces with that. So that's really the core of when I talk about International Trade Network, the Nazar International Trade Network, it's a private sector, public sector platform, right? When I talk about events, my master classes, I actually also teach government, which I also teach government. There are strategic alliances that we have all over the world, where in terms of sales and persuasion, again, for example, the African Union trade, some departments there, right? We work with them, and even on my behalf, right? They've messaged to the entire continent, every country, right, on some of the work that we do, again, privately. So my point is, there are several things that, in terms of sales and persuasion, happens at the top of the house. If you're not in the room, you may not know it's happening. But if you are on the journey, right, you need to start asking, which is part of the game plan 12 strategies for winning, is this clarity of intention, right? What journey are you on? Or have you settled? If you're fine, you're fine. That's why I say never persuade anybody against their will. Like, you won't find me, oh, leave your job. No, 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 no. Please do not leave your job. The easiest thing you can do right now is stay as an employee, because out here in the streets, okay, of entrepreneurship is like the lion, the domesticated lion being released to the wild. Before you get those skills back, it takes a while. And that's why the programs, the coaching, the academy is designed so that you can quickly learn how to be the lion that you are, and go there and dominate and win and compete and get to the highest level of success that you desire. Not me, you. I'm on my own journey. Trust me. I don't talk about my own stuff. But anyway, so let me stop right there and get some initial reactions before I start closing out for today. Thank you so much and welcome, Pastor Cornelius, Lady Chi, Linda, Elder. Does anybody want to come up? Please come up. Professor Mbele. I'm sending you an invite. Please join me on stage. I really do value your perspective as well. Feline, any thoughts? And I know if you're not available, I'm talking to those on Clubhouse, by the way. We're having a great conversation. So feel free to join me on stage if you have any questions. Feline, go on. Go ahead, please.
Greetings, everyone. Miss Toyin, always a pleasure to hear what you have to say. These messages, I have been in Chrissy's back channel. Yesterday, we were connecting and speaking about the advice you gave and everything else. It's always, as you know, a pleasure to hear your experience and insights. And the last piece that you ended off with, those last points about persuading someone against their will, or just the analogy of the caged lion being released, that really stuck out for me, because I had a desire to leave, to not necessarily leave, but let's say retire. I wanted to retire at the age of 50, which is a couple of years from now, but I'm planning. And so it is also preparing for that time. Should it come to pass, I wouldn't want to be like that. But I know that, having that steady paycheck has put me in a certain mindset that I'm not as hungry as I used to be, in a literal and figurative sense.
That's incredible. So, go on, please. Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I know too, whatever I am preparing for, by the time that time comes, there'll be another preparation that I'll have to do.
Okay.
So managing my time to be learning and growing within my career, and also for what's next.
Mm-hmm.
Those are that's I'm having an issue with that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Really, when it comes to time, and when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
the ability to focus and narrow down, nichitize.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm done speaking for now.
Yes. So that's a great point. Here's what I would say, and I'll say it clearly. I have not met anybody that got to the highest level of success without being a risk taker. Right? Everybody that I know at the top of the house, whether political, business, or influence, at the top of the house, nobody gets there without taking any risks. Period. Let's just pick that. So if you are risk averse, that's okay. It's okay. Just be clear that that mindset, strategic positioning stops you. It keeps you bound. It's like if there's something for you in California, if there's a gift for you set up for you with your name in California, and you are here in Chicago, and Chicago is comfortable, and you're not ready to pack your bags, abandon Chicago in search of something greater in California, it's a journey. It's a journey, right? Anybody that is not willing to leave the comfort of Chicago in search of something greater in California will not get what is available to them in California, right? So when I coach my clients one-on-one, this is why we do this in private, because it exposes a lot of limiting beliefs that is keeping people where they are. Because many times we desire what is in California, but we don't want to leave the comfort. Like what I am doing today, and the positions I occupy today, and the appointments I occupy today, there's no way I can be talking to you today if I did not leave the comfort of a six-figure paycheck, working for the world's Fortune 1 company, doing all of that. That was extremely comfortable. Extremely. Where do you go after working for Fortune 1? You just stay there and keep moving up that chain. This is why I say it's not for everybody. But I just need people to be honest with their level of how bad they want this, right? And for me, that clarity is the first step on the journey. What do you want? And it's like you want to be a doctor, but you may not want to enroll in the school that produces doctor. How bad do you want to be a doctor? These are the things I try to call out. I know it's painful, but it's the truth. And nobody is going, like what I've also found is that people that attain and get to those highest level of success, you know what they do? They gate themselves. They put themselves in yacht clubs, golf clubs, these clubs, this exclusivity. They gate them because they know what they left behind and they are not looking to go back there, and they don't even want to deal. They're like, you know what? We got to this pinnacle. Let us gate ourselves and drink our wine and live our life and buy our yachts and swim and go to the ends of, because they paid a price. They paid a serious price. Whether it's political, you want to be the president, you want to be the mayor, you want to be, none of those things. Yeah, okay. I think I've said it. This is why for a long time, right? These are the things in my private coaching that I help people shift into, right? And they are, because when I say the truth, people will now go, wow, it's still back to you. It's not the government, it's still back to us. How bad do we want everything we say we want? And have we set ourselves up to go all in on that journey? Because nobody else will do it for us, no matter how much they love us. And it's also the same message I give to my students and clients. I am on my own journey. You are on your own journey. I will inspire you. I will give you tips. I will give you classes. I will coach you. I will teach you. But that journey, the implementation, you are the one. It's like you want to lose weight. A coach can guide you, right? A coach can help you. but you have to get on the treadmill and do the ultimate work. But it gets easier when there's a coach, when there's somebody, cheering you on, supporting you on. So this is where coaching comes in, leadership success coaching, entrepreneurship coaching. This is why I also took it on and I said, call me Coach Toyin. Because no matter what I'm saying, when I say trade with Africa, when I say this, let's go compete, people say, yes, yes, yes. Then I'll say, let's do the work. And people will be like, no, bring that thing to us. I'm like, me? No, 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 no. You, the only people that enroll on this journey are people that are ready to pay the full price. And I know, Feline, like you're paying the full price, but my point is not just to you, it's also other people that will be listening to this, is that at some point, we have to say the picture that God has put in our mind in terms of, do you want this? Even God will give you the imagery of who you could be or who he has created you to be ultimately. But like in the Bible, at some point, Gideon has to fight that battle. God will say, you are a mighty man of valor, but are you ready to, fight? It's also the same thing in the Bible about the children of Israelites. For those who are believers, right? I always infuse my faith in all of these things because it gives us a reason to keep doing this thing, right? Is that even when the promised land is presented, at some point, some people saw giants and they weren't ready to do the work. And those promises, they never attained it, even though it was theirs to attain, right? And some other people said, give it to me. I will whip some, I will do the fighting. So that's why I'm just saying, I just try to present these things like it's the way, it's even how I've found that God works with us in simple ways. He will flash your potential in front of you, all the possibilities he has for you. He will tell you about his promises for you. He will tell you dreams. You will dream it. You will dream it. You will see it. The key now is, are you, how many people are ready to pay the price to pursue whatever God has for them? And I don't know what it is, but you do. You have your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations. You do, right? And whatever that is, all I try to do is encourage you to pursue it and then equip you in terms of the most efficient. So if you see the roadmap, all of those things, those are the resources. That's why I started putting these programs in place, because at some point I felt it was unfair. And I saw that just me pointing and saying, let's go, I realized that we also have to actually train people on how to get there, right? So that's why you find the leadership, Business and Leadership Academy. You find the International Trade Network. You find my classes on export development, trade and investment facilitation for those who want to learn how to work with government and investors effectively. And then the business side, in terms of your branding, your marketing, your sales, because let's understand the fundamentals. Like, you want to go here, but at least understand the fundamentals, because it gets harder. It gets more interesting. It gets more dynamic. It's like Olympics of business. At least win in your city first. Win in your state. Practice these things, these business principles, before you show up to my platform and say, I want international buyers that closes millions of dollars. I'm like, really, guys? Really? Is that how it works? You want to skip? You've not done the work, but you want the opportunity. So I'm speaking broadly just to everybody listening, because these are the things I see every single day. So yes, my full-time job at a certain level, we talk about economic development, policy advocacy, right? Trade and investments, promotion. Those are the things we talk about. But those things don't get down unless the grassroots, have the skills to participate in those opportunities. And the analogy I give is like, if you want a mango and the mango is ripe, but it's still sitting on the tree, and you keep saying the tree should drop the mango. Well, when it drops, it might be rotten, it might be bad. But while you're waiting, somebody else might pick a ladder, get some things in place, and take that mango right in front of it. And that's what I've seen, that in the middle, there's a lot of magic that happens in the middle. And I say, at a minimum, get yourself to the middle of all of this pyramid. At a minimum, because that's where I have seen that the middle are more prepared. And every single day, you even see them on social media. They are cleaning the board. They are winning. They are competing. They are building wealth. they're achieving success, they are moving themselves every single day in the middle. That's what I've seen. Again, this is my experience. I'm putting some things into books, but we have to start getting, because we need to mobilize as many more people to understand that this is the way the world is structured. But structured. So please, so this is not just for you, Feline, but this is the same thing that even my own personal friends, and we have, even just yesterday, I still had some conversations, right? So it's very prevalent, it's very common. So I'm looking at time. I do have to go shortly, but I'll take more. Oh, doctor, come, welcome to the stage, mommy. How are you today?
Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm very well, thank you, my sister. God bless you. I mean, I think you're a prophet because you see, I'm on this journey myself, and I wish somebody had told me that there was a price to pay.
Wow.
And I just came to that realization just yesterday.
Wow.
And I said to myself, wow, if I want this, I need to pay the price. As difficult as it is, like you rightly said, I want it bad, so I'm going to pay the price. So just thank you so much for just highlighting this and making me know that I'm in the right place to keep on pushing, and that it can be painful, but it can be done.
Oh,
thank you so much.
wow.
I'm speaking.
And here's what I would say. Gosh. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to close the live stream, the main live stream on YouTube, and I'm going to focus only on Clubhouse. So thank you everyone that is watching on YouTube and LinkedIn, because I'm about to go into more. There's some on Clubhouse, I'm able to share some things that is deeper. So I want to take it on. So permit me, guys. So those on LinkedIn and YouTube, thank you so much. I've shared what I want to share, but I also want to attend to some personal, because this is deep. This is why, my one-on-one coaching program is very private, it's very personal. And I try to respect and honor those things, right? People allow me to do that because they pay me to tell them the truth and to hold up the mirror, so that every type of limiting beliefs can be removed, and then we can quickly bind them up, equip them, and then set them, ablaze and going and light lit on fire. So thank you everyone watching on YouTube. Subscribe. God bless you. See you again.